The grand jury sent down 9 findings and recommendations to the city of Hanceville, which include a rampant culture of corruption, abolishing the police department, and the death of a Hanceville dispatcher was the direct result of the Hanceville Police Department's negligence.
These officers find themselves on the opposite end of the laws they were sworn to uphold.
5 officers, including the Hanceville police chief, arrested following an extensive probe into the department. Dispatcher Chris Willingham was found dead in his office in August. His cause of death was the toxic effects of fentanyl and other drugs. Crocker says Willingham had access to the evidence room.
I would just say that nothing was secure about the evidence room, and when Mr. Willingham was discovered, there was evidence in his office.
Crocker went into detail on how people had access to evidence. It was through this hole in the wall. He says people would use the broomstick to jiggle the door open.
This individual who had the stick is actually sticking his head and upper body into the hole.
Crocker says evidence tampered with includes cases in Hanceville Municipal Court and in state court.
I am not optimistic about the ability to prosecute cases with tampered evidence.
The question remains how many that will be.
We're working on that. One is too many.
Grand jury found the Hanceville Police Department is acting more like a criminal enterprise than law enforcement and a threat to public safety.
The recommendations have been made to the public at large, and then whatever action is taken will be up to the mayor and the council.
We went to Hanceville City Hall to ask the mayor what's being done to correct the corruption. The city's lawyer handed us a statement and answered a few questions, including about the future of the police department.
That's something that will have to be addressed by the council and the mayor at a meeting.
Coleman County Sheriff Matt Gentry says if the police department is disbanded, the sheriff's office would take over. Preparations are underway right now, although no formal request has been made.
We will do what is necessary to protect our citizens in Hanceville, because they're not just citizens of Hanceville, they're citizens of Coleman County.
How is the people of Hanceville supposed to entrust their council and mayor to hire another police chief or more officers?
When something is done, my office, state agencies, sheriff's office are going to be there to assist them. The mayor and the council have pledged their full cooperation with this process going forward, and I take them at their word.
In Hanceville, Megan Scarano, ABC 3340 News.
So y'all just heard that news clip right there, and before I get into it, let me just go ahead and address the obvious elephant in the room. That dude in the middle and at the top, I think his name is Eric Kelso. Listen, whatever he is alleged to be have done, he did it. I'm gonna be completely honest with you. This guy looks like he was birthed by 2 parents that were probably most likely cousins, because I swear he looks just like Quasimodo. Like, he looks like he's about to go ring a bell right now. So I just had to go ahead and get that off my chest and acknowledge that. I'm sure some of y'all looked at the picture and was like, oh my God, who was that right there? But yeah, they was clowning him in the comments section of an Instagram post that I saw where I first came across the story. So as you can see right here, another case of corruption or corrupted police, this time in Alabama, and they said they was running that operation like it was a criminal underworld type of deal. Like, they was doing some very shady stuff down there, so bad in fact that they are calling for that precinct, or that department rather, to be disbanded. They want to get rid of it because it was just too much corruption. Now, y'all couldn't see it in the audio because it was just the audio there, but there was surveillance where they were showing someone messing with something or doing something that they weren't supposed to do. It was on surveillance, and that, I'm gonna be honest with you, I think it might have been that Eric Kelso guy, because that dude looks like he got a big back, and that was the angle in which they was looking at him when he was tampering with something. And yeah, I'm not in the least bit surprised. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go and add on to this, because there was an article that was posted on AL.com, which I believe is the Alabama website, and it's going to go into some additional information there that the news didn't cover. Hanceville, a town of 3,200 people, 15 miles south of Coleman. So that just lets you know this is a very, very small town. is best known as the home of the main campus of Wallace State Community College. The town is a dot along the way from Interstate 65 to the nearby Shrine of the Most Blessed Sacrament founded by Mother Angelica. Now, people might know Hanceville as the town with the police department where the chief, 4 officers, and an officer's wife were charged with crimes themselves. The many reporters who converged upon Hanceville and tried to buzz in at the police department entrance on Thursday were told the department was not allowing visitors. It was not clear how many officers were still on the job that morning after the arrest. At the town hall, city clerk Tanya Wilcox was walking through the hallway on Thursday morning when a police officer from the city of Moore showed up, gun in hip. "I think I can help y'all," said Sandra Tangi, or Tangai, a Morris police officer. She said, "I'm willing to help. I've got 36 years of experience." She worked 26 years as a Birmingham police officer, then the UAB campus police, and with the Blount County Sheriff's Office before going to Morris 3 years ago. "I know the situation here. They're in desperate need. I'm definitely by the book." It's hard to imagine that anyone not directly linked to the investigation could fully understand the situation in Hanceville. When the problems began is not yet clear, although court records state the crimes the officers are accused of date back to at least March 1st, 2024 and continued through August 23rd, 2024. That was the Friday that dispatcher Christopher Michael Willingham, age 49, was found dead in his office around 11 a.m. 6 days after Willingham's death, former custodian of evidence Lowell Adam Hatter filed a lawsuit claiming the mayor fired him on April 10, 2024 with no valid reason after a heated exchange between Wilcox, the city clerk. Attorneys for Wilcox and the city deny Hatter's claims, and the case has not been resolved. Hatter claimed that he told the mayor, Jimmy Sawyer, he would need 2 weeks to take inventory of the evidence room before he left to, quote, maintain the chain of custody for all criminal cases then pending. Hatter said he warned not doing so would destroy the chain of evidence. Hatter claimed the mayor made him leave that day. And then it goes on and on and on and on. It's a pretty lengthy article, so I'm not going to read the entire thing because it's very, very, very long. But y'all pretty much get the gist of it. It's basically a lot of corruption. They were in there messing with evidence, taking evidence. They said they was basically running this thing like it was their own personal unit, like their own little crime unit that they had, like their own underworld unit they had going on. And it's just a lot right there. So much, in fact, like I said, they want to disband and get rid of this. And this is not just the chain of command saying this. The people who live there are also saying get rid of them as well. They said that it's like, we can't trust you anymore. Even if you weren't involved with this, it's the fact that you worked in close proximity with them, and that means that it's a loss of trust there. We cannot trust you anymore. You have lost that privilege, and now it's because of them that they're doing it. And then on top of that, who you think is going to have to foot the bill for all of this? Is most likely going to be the taxpayers. Mind you, again, this is a town of 3,200 people. So that is the epitome of a small town, a very, very tiny town. They about to use almost all their resources in order to do the investigation on these thugs in this one thugstress. See what I mean when I talk about the corruption in a lot of these departments? And because it's a small town, people think that, oh, no one's going to talk about it. Well, I found out about it again. I found out about it via Instagram. Now, I'm sure I think I have some subscribers who live in Alabama who probably heard about this as well, but it's probably not going to get that far. But then again, it probably will, because I realized that ABC News actually reported this. I found this on the ABC News YouTube channel, like their main channel. So this actually is moving. It actually is getting attention beyond just the state of Alabama where it happened at. It's not just a local story. This is a huge story right here, which actually kind of surprised me considering the optics of it. And then on top of that, they got a dead person on their hands too. Yeah, they gonna be tied up in litigation for quite some time. And I have a feeling it's probably gonna go to trial. It's probably gonna take a while. And if there is a trial, it probably won't happen until like next year, because they've got to go through mountains of evidence. This is 6 people that they're dealing with, and I hope they throw the book at every last one of them. And also, while they're at it, since they want to be so corrupt, also look into the cases that they were working on too, and see if there was any corruption there. Because if they were doing what they were doing with this that got them caught up, I'm willing to bet that they were doing stuff to people that they arrested. And the crazy part about it is that will be seen as tame compared to what they were doing that got them in this position that they're currently in right now.